You are about to opt in to Monerotopia, a show for the Monero community where all are welcome to join. From noob to maxi, no matter what bags you hold. Just sit back and relax to the sweet sounds of Monero's latest progress. Or if you're feeling inspired, join us on stage. Remember, the only thing that can stop Monero is a false belief that it can be stopped. And if you want to win the revolution faster, we recommend you remove your XMR from all custodial exchanges immediately. Warning, voting accidents are common around here. Don't forget to properly secure your private keys. Monerotopia starts now. Aloha, everyone.
Good morning.
We made it.
Good morning, Miss Tuman.
Good morning, Mr. Tuman. That sounds funny. Different, but in a good way.
Congratulations.
Congrats to you, too.
We did it, guys. We're married.
Woohoo!
That's why we disappeared for a while.
Yes.
Although we still did a show like right before.
Right before. So.
And then we went into another dimension.
Oh my God.
In Puerto Rico with your family for
yes, I don't think he realized. Yeah, and that was just only a few members.
Yeah.
And it was a lot.
We're still recovering.
Yeah.
I still have like the music like thumping in my brain.
Thumping nonstop action.
Great time. We had an amazing time.
We had an amazing
How was
time.
the honeymoon? We didn't have a honeymoon.
We didn't have one yet.
We were with my daughter the entire time. She was with us the whole time. And
just
family.
lots of family. Yeah, lots of family.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was
we will go on our honeymoon, hopefully by the summer. I know.
Everybody had a great time. It was cool. Weather held out.
Yes, it did. I know. It was raining like
Monero pumped the night before our wedding. As one of your cousins was trying to buy some Monero off me. And I went to Luck. I was like, yeah, I'll send you $100 worth. I was like, whoa, Monero's $200 or so. I was like something ridiculous.
We were at the house. That's right. You're like, look, Sanita, did you see?
I gave it to him for half price.
Well, aren't you a sweetheart?
I like that he wants to keep accumulating. He's got it.
Yeah,
he's into it.
He's into it. I know.
So I encourage him. I don't want to completely give it to him for free. I want him to work for it a little bit, but now he knows. Now he just keeps asking me for more Monero.
Every time we see him.
Like, yeah, sure.
That's hilarious.
All right, so what do we got? We got now we're back to reality here.
Back to reality.
Monerotopia, like literally around the corner.
19 days.
That will be our honeymoon.
It's night. That will be Douglas's wedding, actually.
Going to the beautiful remote island of Monerotopia.
Yes, that's Douglas's honeymoon / wedding.
It is, and all of you are invited. So yeah, the event's coming along, guys. We're
19 days. So if you haven't bought your tickets yet,
get the tickets. That's the only thing we need is a packed house. Everything else is coming together. Speakers are coming together. We have some of them with us, I think, today. Speakers are going to be amazing. Kevin Wadd had to drop out, but in his place we have Luke Smith. So he's very well known. He's going to kind of give the big hoorah Monero speech that Kevin was going to give. So that's awesome. Vendors, we got vendors of all types. People are going to be selling CBD plus other goodies. We have like 2 of those now. Others are reaching out to us. Anybody that wants to be a vendor, reach out to us. Anybody that wants to attend, whatever's having some difficulty figuring out how to buy a ticket or whatever, reach out to us. Oh, we're also adding a virtual conference aspect.
Yep.
We were a little apprehensive because we want people to just show up in person. That's what's going to make this awesome, that you're going to be there experiencing Monerotopia. Everything will be for sale with Monero, the drinks, the food. Although we haven't totally figured that out, but we figured out the drink thing. So now we have it where like we'll be able to provide our own liquor, which is cool. So we could figure that out. So drink prices will be set reasonably low compared to the rest of Miami. Actually, I would say very low compared to the rest of Miami. And just bring some Monero, and you can drink all day if that's your preference, or you could drink coffee.
Lots of coffee.
Bring cash or Monero. So obviously Monero preferred, but if you have cash, bring cash.
You don't want to use your Monero because a lot of people don't want to use Monero.
Expect getting your change back in Monero, or maybe having to acquire some on-site peer-to-peer with somebody else where you can then use that to buy what you need at the event. Yeah, we want to make it very Monero-centric. Obviously. What else? Oh yeah, the virtual conference. So we teamed up with the Crypto Vigilante. So they're really good at running these virtual conferences. We have Rafael Verde. He's going to be the MC of the virtual conference. We're going to give him a little area. I think we're going to put him there's like a tent out back that we're going to put up, and basically speakers are going to do their sets on stage. Anybody who's there obviously is going to be able to watch them and be able to do Q&A live at the event. And then we're going to have those talks streaming live, but through the Crypto Vigilante. So we're going to add that as a ticket that if people want to buy it, they can watch it live, that, they can't make it to the conference for whatever reason. And yeah, then we're going to have it where the speakers go back and like talk to Rafael after their talk, so they can get some one-on-one Q&A with Rafael. He could debrief them, and then the viewers at home that bought the virtual conference tickets can ask questions live as well. Should be cool if it all works out. I think it will, because these guys have done these virtual conferences before, but this is kind of unique because it's like a hybrid. We have the real world event mixed in with this virtual conference, which should be really cool. And this is really the only way we could do it, because we don't have the capacity to do it ourselves. So we teamed up with them, and they'll just run that whole component. So exciting. I don't know if we added the ticket option on there yet for that.
No, not yet.
Will
I
any
don't
day
think
now.
so.
Once again, though, highly prefer you guys.
We got
show
another
up in
After
person.
Dark speaker.
Oh, we got another
that
After Dark speaker.
We have a live performance by Free Knots.
We have Free Knots that are pretty much confirmed. We spoke to them yesterday. I don't know if all of them are going to make it. It seems like they will, though.
Yeah.
Because some of them are even going to be vending. Obviously, we have Crypto Bear. We have somebody from Free Knots that's going to be DJing all day outside.
Non-stop music and action.
And then another DJ that might show up that the Free Knots guy knows, right? So
yeah,
we're covered in terms of entertainment. Oh, we have a comedian that we're adding for the live performances at night when we do the After Dark speakers. So we're like jam packed with content, guys. Just get down there. Basically, it's like talks are going to happen all day from morning to night in the main lobby. And then outside is where the party is going to be happening. That's where the vendors are going to be set up. That's where the DJ is going to be going. That's where we'll have the bars. So, I suspect a lot of people will come and just like hang out outside too, just in that area. All right. Moving on.
Well, special thanks to our sponsors, as usual, our awesome sponsors. Well, we have our media and press partners, right? Techlore, Seth, and Mark Falzone. And then our sponsors, obviously, Cake Wallet, thank you. Coin Cards, thank you. And IVPN, thank you very much for sponsoring our awesome conference.
We're trying to get like one or two more sponsors just so we could make sure all costs are covered. Especially now that I ordered the on-demand coffee roaster. So we'll be roasting gratuitous coffee live.
Live.
So that should be cool.
What else, Douglas? What other ideas
lots of little
are in store? And I'm sure we'll get a lot more before the date, even the day of, even during the conference. This man will come up with some idea, because that's just how he is.
It's working out. It's all
working out. Fun times.
The wedding worked out, right?
It did.
We were literally hiring entertainment while we were there. The day before, I found a good live entertainer at a venue we were at.
Yes,
I think 2 days before the wedding, we hired him. He showed up. He did the cocktail hour.
He was awesome. So yeah, like I said, I'm sure. And even the day of, you did a few things that
you like this aspect.
Yes, I do. I love it.
Slightly stressful, but
it is. But it's very entertaining at the end once everything.
All right, let's move on.
All right, let's move on to the price report, my friends. The Monerotopia price report segment is sponsored by Local Monero. Avoid using KYC exchanges. Buy and sell Monero directly for fiat, peer-to-peer. Hello, Fungible. How are ya?
You're Fungible.
Hello, I'm all good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Congratulations, you guys look very relaxed after your wedding.
Dude,
It was
do
really
we look
And
like a married couple now?
Oh my goodness. Hey, how sweet.
well, I think I don't see like too much of a difference there, but you look more relaxed.
We got
So
married
that's pretty
live.
cool. You married. And yeah, I just wanted to gift you guys some happiness. So just a day before your wedding, I pumped up your bags. You would
Ah,
have seen Monero cross to touch 200. So that
Yeah,
was neat.
thank you.
yeah,
Thank you
thank
for
you for
that.
that. Thank
That
you. We knew it was you.
that made for a good pre-wedding party for sure. I believe I jumped in
Good.
the pool that evening right after I saw the price.
Yes, he did.
And where were you guys? I mean, where was your wedding exactly? In
In
Puerto
Puerto
Rico?
Rico. Yeah, Puerto Rico.
Oh, awesome,
It was
awesome.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, Sunita is
I'm half Puerto Rican.
half Puerto Rican, so she's got a lot of family members down there.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was very cool. Very cool. It was
Awesome.
awesome.
All right, let me get started. Price number
Yeah.
report number 14. And today, just going to start with this image. There's a flight coming, and we are ready to take off. So this is the kind of situation I see the markets to be in. Just
We're
going to
headed to
discuss.
Monerotopia any day now. Ready for takeoff.
Ready to take off, yeah. So the fear and greed index, just to begin with, and then I'm going to touch upon some on-chain because I think technical price action with on-chain goes pretty well. And let me jump over to the fear and greed index. So we see that we are still in fear. So markets are still in denial of some sorts. But I see that in the last, this is, I think, in the last 3 months or last 1 month, it's slowly but gradually moving up. So people are, trying to understand what's going on, both in the futures market as well as in the spot markets. So people, I think this indicator is going to slowly tick up. That's my expectation. Nothing is guaranteed, of course. Moving towards neutral in the coming days. I'm going to just show some, it's called the stable coin ratio oscillator. So what this means is this shows the how the markets have moved, and the oscillator that you see is the stable coins, like how much has been accumulated. When you see the bottom, it means there is more of these USDTs or stablecoin supply in the market during capitulation. So just to understand this chart, the red denotes the capitulation events, while the green zones are accumulation, so which falls right after that. And this chart effectively tracks the amount of USD on the sidelines, which are ready to flow back into the crypto markets. And as I said, the low points in the oscillator means the maximum amount of USDT on the sidelines, and this of course includes USDC, etc. And when it's at its peak, there after a very fast dump, like what you see here, and I see that this is one of the charts from Glassnodes, also shown by Vilivu. So I think last time I said that I was not sure if the capitulation has already happened or is going to happen, and it looks to me like the one that we went to, I think 32K, was the capitulation event where maximum amount of USD was accumulated, and now it's slowly getting back into the markets. And right now we are in the um, ending of the accumulation zone. So I see something going up. And this is another chart from on-chain, which is Bitcoin price stability. So this is basically a stability price chart, which is based on the volatility of the Bitcoin price. And it highlights the peak stability, which is the low volatility, which are the zones where large price movements have historically been seen. So you see wherever the Bitcoin price stability index is at its peak, that is where large price movements are seen. You can see this. And right now we are moving towards that, and where I see some kind of large price movement to take place. And from all the other indicators I have, the direction seems to be up. And this was the on-chain. And just to see from the technical charts, if I can see something interesting there. This is the line which I drew, and the line comes up over here because I'm seeing the daily close instead of, because these are just sort of capitulations that happen in the market, but I'm looking at daily close, and I see that this ends up somewhere end of next month. But of course the breakout can happen at any moment. That is what I see, and I see that coming in within the next 2 weeks. This is the total crypto market cap, And of course, the Bitcoin, I don't see, to be honest, I don't see too much interesting details here. Details being the same as last time. We had the support around $40,000, but we also uh, saw that we formed a new kind of support around $36,000. So even if we were to fall down back down, this is the kind of support we have. And $30,000 to $35,000 range seems to be a really great support in my opinion. And I think like we're slowly forming the foundation base here before. I think it can just surprise us. I'm not sure when this happens, but I think in the next 2 weeks. And the XMR chart looks a bit interesting. We are trying to see some pump, and as we see that XMR can always surprise us, but I see a good stability forming around the support of $180, which I've been constantly harping about. $180. I think we have a good stability around that, and it's just a matter of time if and when BTC picks up. I think some interest can come into the Monero markets, but I also see that Monero has jumped from position 50 in the coin market cap, or coin Geeko, actually that's what I use, to number 40 now. So that seems like a pretty good development. And in terms of the XMR BTC chart, yeah, I think we are above the long-term trend line. So I think that is a good thing, and we're
So it
going
looks like
strong now.
we broke out of the downtrend is what you're basically saying there?
Yeah, I would think so. In terms of XMR BTC, we have broken out of the long-term downtrend. We were below this line all throughout. Now we are above it, and how it acts from here on, yeah, I think that's something to be seen as time goes on.
All right.
And yeah, and I have one more thing here, which is something I found interesting. It says Bitcoin seasonality, spring equinox. This is from the time of March 20th, which seems to be like the start of spring, until the end of December. And this is how much returns Bitcoin has given us, or the crypto markets have given us overall, from, let's say, beginning of April to end of December. So the median of this comes out to be around 100%. So we can see a doubling of price if we follow this as a reference. Sorry. So yeah, so the worst case scenarios we have seen is basically dropping by 50%. So that is what we have seen historically. But whenever the 200 daily moving average, we are above the 200 daily moving average, we have historically seen positive. So that is what I think we are above the 200-day moving average now. So, well, this is just a reference that we can double in price by end of this year. I think that's all. And a couple of more things was I found that Honduras, I think, is on the verge of adoption. I don't know if you guys have heard that news.
No, I have not.
So after El Salvador, the next one seems to be Honduras, that they can make it a legal tender, but that's just a speculation for now.
Monero or no, just kidding.
Well, I think
that'd be so badass if the country, right?
Yeah. Yes, everything starts with Bitcoin, but I think on the behind the back, it's always Monero. And Monero and Ukraine government accepting Monero is, of course, comes in a good limelight.
For donations, right?
Yes, for donations. Yep. So that gives it a legitimacy, so to speak. Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for doing all. I know it takes a lot of work, and I enjoy these. These are awesome. We never know what the price is going to do, but it's fun. It's fun to take a peek here.
Yep.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'll stay offline. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'll keep an eye on that XMR to BTC ratio. Hopefully, we just continue to trend up.
All righty, let's move on to our guest segment.
Yeah, let's do it.
The Monerotopia guest segment is sponsored by Cake Wallet. Store, send, receive, and exchange your Monero and Bitcoin safely on iOS and Android too. Cake Wallet is open source, and you always control your own keys.
All right.
Hold on.
Hello.
Adam and
Adam, go, man.
It's a bit earlier here.
Oh, she's having issues, I think, connecting.
Okay.
But we can see
wait, can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yep. we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
hear
yeah.
and,
Sorry to make you guys wait. We I don't know, maybe we have to come up with a different format. I feel bad we make our guests wait there. But thank you for waiting for us.
here's Rose.
Rose, is she there?
I think she's there.
Rose, can you hear us?
I don't know. Wait. Hello?
Hello.
Okay, let's just
Yeah, all right, we'll start with
with
Adam.
Adam.
Adam, yeah. So I mean, basically, we're a few weeks out to Monerotopia. We're just trying to bring some of the speakers on that are going to be talking there, just to give like a quick intro, a little teaser, so people get excited about the talks. So thanks for jumping on, man. I know we've had you on Monero Talk before, but if you don't mind, give me like a quick little intro of yourself.
Sure. Can you guys hear me? I don't know if my mic is
We
working.
can hear you.
Okay, cool. Just
Hair
checking.
looks great too, by the way. Hair is
I
looking
know.
good.
Love it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I dyed it a couple months ago. Quick intro. I mean, I studied at Berkeley, physics and astrophysics. Like, graduated, I think, like 3 years ago now. Yeah. Every time I think last year, I think it was either like 2020 or 2021. It's still in that phase. But every year's basically been 2020 since 2020. So
Groundhog's Day.
yeah. It's after that. So I have physics and astrophysics. I had a specialization with quantum computing, and then I also did a couple of like blockchain / cryptocurrency. So I did some of the first blockchain courses, and then I did some of the first quantum computing courses at Berkeley. So I had a really interesting Venn diagram of knowledge in both topics, I guess. So that's kind of how I ended up becoming involved in that, because of course there's like all blockchain technology involves cryptography, cryptographic protocols, and of course, as most people know, the big thing that quantum computers can do is just break all that. So one of the big things. Anyway, so I did me with a couple of other colleagues. They're not here right now, but we did basically a rundown of all the different possible vulnerabilities that something like Monero would have to quantum computers. Just looking at different algorithms, just going through different algorithms and possible. Not just, but most people just know about shorts, but there's also other things. And we just basically went through the whole rundown of all the different protocols and the heavy math, and then just like checked, like, okay, well, would this be something that would be vulnerable? How much do the vulnerabilities like extend in terms of like not just like breaking public keys, but also just like a random oracle model, using other algorithms to break the proof of work mechanism and such. I guess there's a few interesting things that came up for sure, but most of the stuff was like, okay, yeah, I mean, mainly discrete log breaking stuff. But that's basically the background for me.
Oh, no, very cool, man. Very cool.
And I was on the show twice, before and after we finished the audit.
Yes. And thank you for coming down and doing a talk at Monerotopia. Very cool. So what's kind of your current take, or has it evolved since we last spoke to you with regards to whether or not there should be this concern about Monero trying to be quantum resistant, or if is it something that we really don't need to worry about, or how are you looking at things right now in a very general sense?
Yeah, so I guess I was last on last year, sometime around 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Mid. Okay. I mean, I think that was a pretty interesting show. But how should I approach this? I guess it's the field has definitely evolved since then. Like quantum computing and also post quantum cryptography, for that matter. Post quantum cryptography has evolved pretty rapidly. And there's kind of just definitely been a bit of an arms race between like new quantum algorithms coming out that are trying to break new post-quantum cryptography protocols that are coming out as well. So it's
Right.
interesting. And then of course the keys are getting shorter or longer or whatever. Mostly shorter. That's kind of the idea, and more stuff that can be built off of them. And of course, like fully homomorphic encryption protocols that are still, built off really complex math that can't be cracked by conventional computing standards. as far as we know. It's I mean I think inevitably everything that relies on cryptography that's on the discrete log problem, elliptic curve, billion subgroup sort of stuff, which is what Monero relies upon, eventually will have to be replaced someday. I mean, that's just kind of inevitable. And even if it's not just like just quantum computers, I mean, this is also just very old cryptography that we're talking about, like based in like the 70s or something. So I guess it's probably, I mean, that at some point, maybe not necessarily Monero would be the top priority in this case, but I mean, yeah, everything should probably. If it's inevitable, you got to replace it at some point. So I mean, yeah. The other thing is basically just looking at the vulnerabilities. What else could possibly be like the random oracle model, for instance? I think we found some interesting stuff involving that. Besides just using shores for cracking the discrete log problem, which is public-private key pairings are based off of it and such.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So, what's your talk going to be focused on? Do you know yet, or you haven't really narrowed it down yet?
I mean, narrow. I mean, yeah. I mean, I've been definitely thinking about that. About like what would be maybe the best topic. I mean, I really don't necessarily know the audience that I'd be talking to in some cases, but I think, I mean, mainly just focusing on, I mean, I think I definitely I think it's definitely an interesting topic, especially just in the crypto community in general. I mean, obviously, not just Monero is, vulnerable to these sort of things, presumably. And so I guess the talk would, of course, just be like, I have to, be a quantum computing evangelist a little bit. And I got to introduce the actual technical concepts because, I mean, they're very exciting. And I mean, even the recent developments, too. I mean, there's like, so, I mean, last we talked, like, I mean, qubits were like the main thing, but now people are starting to work with something called qtrits, which is like back, ternary computers instead of binary computers, but it's then you have like these the entanglement involved and stuff, and you actually get really interesting. You just get really interesting.
How about these? This idea that there's the governments like the U.S. government is kind of light years ahead of everybody else in terms of the development with these types of things. Do you think there's any kind of truth to that, or it's not? Is it just like, is all this stuff so open source that they really don't really have an advantage? Is it like that there's somebody secretly building a quantum computer that's light years ahead of everybody else, or is it like that's not? I mean, what do you think? Or is that not really happening? It's kind of like we know, how far people are along. I mean, do you think there's like, great advantages that governments have with regards to those type of things?
I mean, maybe Jeff Bezos is building one in his like secret volcano,
right?
Or something. I can just imagine Jeff Bezos on an island just being like, "Yes, I expect you to give your private keys."
Right.
That'd be
like, how do you see that playing out? Is it just like that? It's just such. Is something going to happen secretly in the background, or is this going to like all evolve in a way where we're all going to know what the latest tech is as it happens, and with regards to like these quantum computers? And
I mean, given the nature of the technology and what it can do, and the fact that one of the main strategic advantages of having something like this, it relies on the secrecy of it. I mean, I would presume that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know personally.
Yeah, just curious.
We can only write on our conspiracy forums at 4 a.m. while we're drinking our like fifth hot coffee or whatever you take at 4 a.m. I don't know.
Well, one of the major criticisms of Monero obviously is that it's not as technically easy to audit, right? Like you're relying on more of the math and the cryptography and the software itself, as opposed to Bitcoin, which is literally a transparent ledger, where at the end of the day you could technically see if there was like visibly see if there was like a double spend, right? But if something like a quantum computer can come and break the encryption underneath that underlies Bitcoin, then that's just his biggest concern there, right? I mean, so like, well, what's your take on that? Do you think that's something that people should be, aware of? I mean, it seems like it's always like kind of poo-pooed, like, yeah, whatever, no worries, quantum computers, that's not going to happen for another 100 years, or it's just not feasible, blah, 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 blah. It's like, we don't need to worry about it. Like when that happens, the whole banking system is going to be subject to it. Or should there be kind of a legitimate concern that somebody could start secretly breaking, Bitcoin keys or something without people being aware of it for quite some time or something?
I mean, to be honest, I don't have obviously any like direct answer to that, but I mean, I would presume that we wouldn't really. I mean, yeah, someone right now could potentially. I would speculate that I don't think anyone has one right now, and I don't think anyone would probably have any, even like the secret underground Jeff Bezos volcano bunker or whatever. I don't think anyone would have anything for at least like another 5 years, given the scope of the technology right now from what we do know about it. And yeah, there is a lot of open source stuff actually with quantum computing, which I think is pretty exciting. It's very different from, I mean, actually, if you really look at the like history of computing in general, and like the hackers at MIT in like the 60s and 70s, like the whole basis of like hacker culture and like our current paradigm of computing in general all comes from a lot of those guys who would like sit in Chinese restaurants and order takeout and just talk about how computers worked and stuff like that. And I mean, that kind of did start out a bit more open source, but it's still mostly concentrated in labs, So like people like MIT labs and like a couple of other national labs as well. And they talk about, the potential long-reaching implications of computing in general and different, formats that we still use today. I mean, we still use command, what were the two things where it's like, I don't know if you code with Lisp at all, but that they still use something like that. And like that's like these little tiny things that, but anyways, so quantum computing is a bit different because you have a similar kind of technology, similar scope, but it's all being developed like open. A lot of it is being developed like open source on the software level, at least. And like you can go to IBM Quantum Experience and just access quantum hardware for free. Like you get like 10. You're not going to break Shores, but you're not going to use Shores to break like private keys and whatever. But yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool, man. I feel like let's get
I think because she was having internet issues.
You want to do a re-intro? So now we'll
yes.
Hold on.
We just got to make sure because she was having internet issues, so she found a location and she thinks that the internet is okay. Cool. So bear with us if for some reason it doesn't work. So I'll do another intro. The Monerotopia guest segment is sponsored by Cake Wallet. Store, send, receive, and exchange your Monero and Bitcoin safely on iOS and Android too. Cake Wallet is open source, and you always control your own keys. All right, Rose. You want to unmute yourself now?
Do we have you?
I know she was having internet issues. Oh, there you go. Hello.
So sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah.
Does it sound okay?
It's all right.
There's a little background noise, but
we'll take.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm in public.
No worries. Thanks for jumping on. I mean, we just kind of wanted to give the Monero audience a quick teaser because you're going to be a speaker at Monerotopia. We just want to get people excited. We're obviously excited. So, if you don't mind, you want to quickly intro yourself?
okay, now you can.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. So sorry about the connection. So my name is Rachel Rosalie. I was formerly. Can you hear me?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, there's an echo. It's kind of throwing me off. I'll start. I was writing about Monero back in 2018. Nowadays, I'm working on Darkfi, which is a network for anonymous smart contracts. So I'm one of the core developers.
Rose, can you hear us? Yeah, the connection's not the greatest.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do this.
Maybe we leave it.
Yeah, that's okay. We could do it another time.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe come on. Yeah, next week.
No
No worries.
most importantly, we're excited that you're coming to Monerotopia, right? We got you. We're gonna have you in person.
We're excited for Monerotopia. Yeah. I'm going to be there.
Awesome. Yeah, you're
I'm
going
to be in person.
Awesome. You're going to be one of the first talks. So we're super excited to have you. Our hope is you'll kind of set the theme for the day, get people realigned with the true ideals of what crypto is supposed to be all about. I've heard you speak before on podcasts. I know a little bit about your history. I know you're that you're a freedom fighter through and through. So super excited and eager and honored to have you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, so we'll let you go, Rose, just only because I feel like it's just going to make for bad listening.
Yeah, maybe we can have you on next week.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Sounds like you're at a pub, so cheers.
Thank you for trying.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Oh, she's been trying the entire show. So
yeah, she's just got a bad connection. Yeah. But super excited to have her. Anybody, give her a Google, guys. She recently did, I forget whose podcast she was on. But yeah, if you Google her, she's awesome. Yeah. And she's working on the Darkfi thing. I see Vic with the question mark. What's that?
I think because everyone's doing ... I don't know what that means, guys.
Vic, how's it going, man?
Hello, Vic.
Somebody did have a question for Rose, but she's
I'll try to ask.
Whatever.
Her,
yeah. You'll ask that at Monerotopia, guys. We'll have in person or with our virtual conference ticket.
Oh God. Yeah.
Hopefully in person.
The other layer of the conference.
People congratulating us. Crypto Bear, nice seeing you, man. Thank you for the congratulations. Super excited to have you down there.
Cool. You want to move on to the news segment? Let's do that.
Adam, we're gonna move on to the news. More than happy to have you stay if you want, and then because after the news, we invite other people up on stage, or if you need to go, whatever you need to do. But
whatever you fancy.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead. What did you say? So, I can't hear him.
Oh, you're muted. Yourself.
Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll probably stay. I don't have anywhere to be right now. It's pretty early for me, to be honest.
Awesome, man. Thank you for jumping on today and waking up early. Let's move on to the news, and then we'll continue the convo.
All righty. Let's
super excited to have Adam down at Monerotopia as well.
The Monerotopia weekly news segment is sponsored by iVPN. Use a VPN to help prevent your online activity from becoming a permanent record. iVPN encrypts your data and DNS requests so your ISP or mobile network provider cannot monitor or log your online activity. Purchase an iVPN service today anonymously with Monero. Oh, what happened? Why didn't it share?
What happened? What happened?
Dun.
Get it up there. I gave you like a ton of links, so you just jump the reach.
It won't let me follow these steps. I don't know why it's not letting me.
It's not letting you share
my screen. Yeah, I don't know why. That is just very weird.
Oh no!
Oh no! Another issue. Oh, here you go. Maybe Google. No. Later.
Well, I'll
you could start.
I'll try to start the news, even though I'm just looking at links here. So, Martha Bueno did a live Spaces last night. I recommend people check that out. Maybe we could put the link in the show notes. Otherwise, go on Twitter and search. You'll find her. She's going to be the opening speaker at Monerotopia. But she did a Twitter Spaces because she's really concerned about one of the guests that they were going to have at Bitcoin 2022. He was going to come and talk about this new app wallet that Cuba is using to allow for easy remittances. And she's really concerned about it and the fact that essentially it's controlled and owned by the government, and it's going to be misused and abused and taken advantage of, and it's not going to be kind of a real way of using Bitcoin and getting people into Bitcoin. Rather, it's going to be kind of a centralized way for people to effectively send remittances. They'll be sending Bitcoin, but the receivers on the other end aren't really ever going to get Bitcoin. They're just going to get the local currency there, and the concern is that the government's kind of just using it to acquire Bitcoin and control people and take their data. And she did a great job on the talk, and actually the guy who runs the Bitcoin 2022 conference came in and was talking to her about it as well. And it was just a good talk, good listen. And obviously his arguments is that they're not interested in canceling anybody. And we've had some of these similar experiences, and these are tough issues. It's like at what point are you not willing to give somebody the stage? This guy's argument was, well, it's a Bitcoin product, so they're welcome on stage. But I mean, come on, are you okay with a Bitcoin product that's misusing and abusing Bitcoin to the point where it's no longer a tool for freedom? So I thought that was a great discussion, and it's really exciting to see that Martha is pushing this so hard to the point where now she's gotten the attention of the Bitcoin 2022 conference, and they're like jumping in and talking to her, and she's definitely a go-getter. So she's going to be our opening speaker, and I recommend you listen to her spaces there. It was cool. You have the next one?
Yeah.
All right, so we're working
one
now.
tab works.
Cryptography recently posted that he developed a way to easily run a full node on an Android. So we've seen like people do this in the past. Like I think Howard Chu has spoken about how he can easily run a full node on his Android, but now Grampy has made it like, I think, super user friendly. I don't know if you want to play the video there real quick. So I think he's still developing things, but it looks like it's going to be pretty sleek and sexy. So anybody with an Android can hook up a storage device, because obviously it takes a lot of room, but then very easily run a full node on their Android. So this one of the criticisms of Monero is that it can't scale. There's concerns that the blockchain will get too large, people won't be able to run full nodes. Well, you can run one on your Android, and there's Androids all over the entire world. There's used Androids. There's we have too many Androids. So this is hopeful, guys. This is amazing that we're at the point where you can now very easily run a full node on your Android phone. And they're making it easier and easier to do. So kudos to you, Cryptography. Oh, I think guys, check him, try to find him, send him a tip. He was asking for, I think, donations for the work that he's putting in. So it's well deserved. Highly recommend people send him some tips so he continues to be inspired to work on this project. What's next? How to mine Monero. And then somebody recently posted a how to mine. So we just talked about how to run a full node on your phone. Now they're talking about easy ways to mine Monero on your Android. So check that out as well. Once again, this is just very positive development towards the decentralization of Monero. I had a guest on last night, guy who's running for Senate. What's his name?
It was Brian Salston.
Brian Salston. He just announced that he's running for Senate, for U.S. Senate from the state of Washington. And he's first and foremost into Bitcoin. He's running to make Bitcoin legal tender in the U.S. As you could imagine, we had quite the convo. Monero was certainly
that will be
discussed.
posted over the next couple of days.
But he did it. He made it very clear in his announcement that he's Bitcoin only. But he likes Monero, and then he just couldn't deny it at that point once we started talking. But one of his one and only real criticism was, is Monero decentralized, right? So the reason why he's Bitcoin only, because he sees it as kind of the one and only pure true crypto, because of its decentralized nature and that it can't essentially be co-opted or stopped by governments. Obviously, we got into that, and I argued reasons perhaps how it could be co-opted. But yeah, just here's another example of Monero's trend towards being more and more decentralized. You can run a full node on your phone. You can mine Monero on your old Android. Next story. My Monero just recently announced, I think they're coming out with a new version, and it seems like they're going to make it easy to buy Monero directly with fiat. I don't know if it's going to be through a credit card thing. I'm not entirely sure, but it's nice to see that they're continuing to develop and make progress. I think it's also going to, you'll be able to swap between coins. So obviously you could do all these things already with Cake Wallet, but it's nice to see that others are continuing to evolve and grow, and it's always good for the ecosystem. So that's awesome. Way to go, my Monero. Monero, somebody recently posted a CCS. They want to study the idea of bringing Monero to Afghanistan, basically getting the locals there to adopt it. I just thought it was cool. Don't really totally understand what they're trying to do. I don't think, obviously it's not about getting the government involved or anything. I think they just want to try to figure out how to get the citizens, the residents of Afghanistan to start using Monero, and they posted a CCS and want to spend some time studying this and I guess come up with kind of a game plan on how to do it. I think it's cool. Check out their CCS, at least comment on it, maybe kind of help them mold it into something that will be actionable. I think it's very, very, very exciting to see these types of developments. So what else we got? Ko, who will also be a speaker at Monerotopia. I mean, that's like having Satoshi Nakamoto at a Bitcoin conference. I mean, the Ko's just amazing. He does so much for the development of Monero. Guy's a super brain. He's the one that's spearheading the development of Seraphis, and now he's asking for funding to develop a proof of concept Seraphis wallet, so we could kind of see Seraphis working, and there'll be understanding of kind of all the newfangled things you'll be able to do with Seraphis once it's developed. With the different view keys and stuff, it's going to revolutionize how Monero wallets can potentially work, and he wants to build a proof of concept to kind of showcase these things and show how it's going to work. Very cool to see that development. Very cool. What else we got? We got so much news, guys, because we missed last week after the wedding. Wasabi Wallet, the ZK Snacks coordinator will start refusing certain UTXOs from registering to CoinJoins. Ooh, not a good look. Not a good look for Wasabi. Not a good look for Bitcoin. Not a good look for Bitcoin. More so than this isn't necessarily a Wasabi problem. This is a Bitcoin problem. Like people in Bitcoin, they get angry that KYC AML exists. They get angry that chain analysis companies exist. They get angry that people are taking steps to blacklist. It's not about what those people do. It's about the fact that these things can be done because of Bitcoin and the fact that it's traceable. We got into that quite a bit with the guy running for Senate yesterday. So I recommend you tune into that. We mentioned this before. Ukraine was obviously they're accepting crypto for donations, but it was, I think, last week, maybe it was the day we got married, actually, when they announced that Monero is one of the currencies that they're accepting. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna donate to Ukraine, you're probably gonna want to use Monero, especially let's say maybe you live in Russia and you don't agree with Putin, you don't agree with what your government's doing, you don't like the fact that they're invading their brother country right there, and you want to help Ukraine. You're probably gonna want to make that donation with an untraceable currency like Monero. You're probably not going to want to use Bitcoin or one of these others where, I don't know, you're put on a list, you're put on Putin's list potentially. So it's nice to see that they finally added Monero as a donation option. So that's nice to see. People are moving in the right direction. What else we got?
Fluffy Pony.
Oh, Fluffy Pony. Yeah, he recently made an announcement. This was him criticizing the Wasabi thing. So you go to the next one. Go ahead, keep going.
It's just because I'm one
going.
tab.
Okay, well here's Elizabeth Warren. So there was a Senate hearing with regards to crypto, and should there be concerns about crypto being used to avoid sanctions was kind of the main topic. And why don't we go ahead and quickly play? This was kind of the highlight of the hearing, was Warren stating this. Oh,
really? The sound doesn't work? Oh no, here that's fine.
Crypto that he wants to hide from the governments
Wait,
that are
maybe step-
enforcing sanctions on oligarchs. Now, Mr. Levin, let's consider one of Putin's cronies who already has $1 billion or so in crypto that he wants to hide from the governments that are enforcing sanctions on oligarchs. Now, can this oligarch make it harder to trace his money if he hops from one blockchain to another, if he deposits those tokens into a couple of wallets that don't require him to provide identifying information, and if he uses a mixing service that launders his money with other people's money?
Thank you, Senator. So the scenario that you describe, where an oligarch has $1 billion to be able to launder, requires significant amounts of liquidity to be able to obfuscate that amount of money through the use of cryptocurrency. In fact, many times we've been able to identify.
I'm sorry, let me just remind you of what my question was again. What I'm asking is about the tools that are available. Now, he may have to break it up into multiple pieces of, who knows, $100 million at a crack. But the question I'm asking is, does hopping from one blockchain to another, does depositing tokens in a couple of wallets that don't require him to provide identifying information, and does using a mixing service all make it easier for him to hide his money?
So, Senator, the answer to that question is no, because the chain hopping that occurs, you need to actually provide the tokens, which in a transparent way that allows you to move across blockchains. We've actually got software that allows you to. So you don't think
chain hopping makes it any easier to hide your money? How about depositing tokens in wallets that don't require identifying information?
You can always split the money up into wallets that don't require.
And that would help hide the money. And how about using a mixing service?
That doesn't remove the record of where the money actually sits.
But the question I'm asking is, does it make it harder to track the money?
No, so it doesn't make it harder to track the money, because
using a mixing service, you're telling me, doesn't make it harder to launder money?
The daily liquidity value of mixing services globally is about $30 million.
So you might have to do this day by day?
And we have done extensive work in tracking large sums of money through mixers that have led to the arrests of people and the disruption of their activity.
I'm actually a little surprised by your answer, since you charge a lot of money to untangle and track assets through the system.
Okay, enough. I think that was basically it. I got a lot to say about that. We could talk about that in the when we bring people up on stage. I think it's interesting. So she's being like, obviously the crypto community, the Bitcoin community is coming out like calling her, like she's an idiot. She doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know what she's talking about. I mean, I thought her questions, made a lot of sense. And honestly, it's interesting, right? Because you see Bitcoiners out there talking about how Bitcoin is being used right now as a tool for people to avoid censorship, and are able to make donations to the Ukrainian government. For example, you could be in Russia, like we were just saying, you can donate money to the Ukrainian government, and Putin can't stop you. Nobody can stop you. At the same time, you're seeing it potentially being used as a tool to avoid sanctions, and it theoretically can be used for both of those things. If it works for the first thing, it works for the second. And I'm just seeing hypocrisy there among the Bitcoiners. They're like, oh yeah, Bitcoin is great. It can be used, to make these donations in a censorship resistant way. And then when we talk about avoiding sanctions, oh yeah, no, don't worry. It's not a good tool for that. Like, you can't really have your cake and eat it too, or whatever it is. I forget what the expression is, but and I get the liquidity thing, right? Yeah, sure. Yeah, it would be difficult for a Russian oligarch to use it for purposes of moving $1 billion, of course. But how about in 10, 20, 30 years from now? How about when all the infrastructure exists? And I'm not, obviously I understand why we want to say like it's not good for those purposes, but let's be real, guys. the bigger question is, are we okay with a truly censorship-resistant technology for sending transactions existing, especially something like Monero? And are we okay with everything that brings? And then the real argument and discussion is around the philosophy behind that and the ethics. And do we want to live in a world where people can freely transact and move money around, whether it's somebody that's looking to donate to the Ukrainian government who's in need, and we see that as justified in fighting a war because they're being invaded, or somebody using it for a nefarious purpose or to avoid a government sanction. And there needs to be the discussion. I think her questions were legitimate. At the end of the day, it does make it easier. I mean, I don't see how you can deny that. And this guy literally works for a chain analytics company that their bread and butter is in this. That's what they do. They analyze the chain to try to prevent nefarious actions. And crypto is good. It makes these things easier. I know people don't like some people reach out to me. They're like, "Doug, why do you talk about this?" Because it's reality, right? Like, crypto has made ransomware easier, right? But for crypto, it would be very hard to be a successful ransomware company. Could you do it? Sure, but crypto puts it on steroids, and to say otherwise is to deny reality and to deny what crypto can do. To say Bitcoin isn't really good for things because it's not liquid enough is to kind of, all right. So you don't want it eventually to be liquid enough? It's like you gotta. I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of sick of the hypocrisy there, especially among the Bitcoin crowd. It's decide what you guys really want and what you really believe in, and don't pretend it's good for some things and not good for other things, but it's ultimately a tool for freedom. But all right, but it can be just you got to kind of pick a side on that. And I think at the end of the day, what Senator Warren, her questions were legitimate, and these tools do make those things potentially easier to do in some ways. And then you have to ask the further question, but are we still okay with that? The internet makes those things easier to do, but we're obviously all okay with the internet, right? There's no debate there. So that's what the debate needs to become, essentially viewing crypto like the internet itself, a tool that can be used for good and bad, and realizing ultimately there's a lot more good that comes with it than bad. There's my rant. But
Are you
I guess
finished?
let's bring people up to stage. Enough with the news. The only thing was the fluffy pony thing. He had announced that he's working on creating a way to, I think, wrap Monero and then do DeFi with it. And he didn't go into detail at all, but really exciting to see that Fluffy is doing this kind of behind the scenes. We haven't really heard much from him. Fluffy, if you're listening, because I know you listen to all our shows, please jump on. Come on. I'd love to see him at Monerotopia. We gotta hit him up. Obviously I hit him up. He didn't really have much to say. I know he's dealing with a lot of personal things, but maybe we get him to maybe even just phone it in down there, and maybe he could talk more about this project that he's working on. It sounds very cool that he wants to make it easier to wrap Monero and do DeFi on it. Let's
move on to the viewers.
It's
the Viewers on Stage segment. It's that time where we invite you, the viewers, up on stage to comment on anything you've heard so far today, ask the guest a question, or maybe talk about one of the news topics. Come on down. Come on down, everyone. Please, we beg you.
Come on down, guys.
Otherwise,
Come on.
Doug
Don't
will
be
just
shy.
continue to talk and talk and talk.
You don't want that. You don't want that.
And talk some more.
You gotta listen to me for the rest.
I know.
You agreed
so
to
excited.
You agreed to it.
How sweet.
At least these people shut it off. You can't.
I know. So kudos to me.
I do. I give you a lot of credit.
Yes. Thank you for that. Yeah, it looks like no one wants to come on stage to talk to you.
Come on, guys. Jump on up. Jump on up.
We beg you. Even if you don't, you don't.
Too early.
Do
you think people aren't wearing pajamas right now? You think people are wearing
on your camera? Where are you located? How early is it?
Well, he's in Cali, right?
California, San Francisco,
wow.
Frisco.
Rise and shine. Saturday morning. We got you.
Oh no.
Guys, jump on. At least let's get one person up here. Too shy. We have 26, almost 30 people watching the show. Just jump on.
You don't have to show your face.
You don't have to show your face. Adam, what do you think, man? What do you think of things seem to be really coming to a head with crypto and governments being concerned about how it can be used in ways that they cannot control. What's your opinion there? What's your take on that?
I think ever since the like Bitcoin became a thing, I mean, a lot of it started off with like cypherpunk communities, online forums, and such. I mean, no matter what happens on a government level, I think people need to just understand like the power of crypto wallet and stock drawer strategy. It's just sort of like, I think if you're at a level in which government regulations can affect crypto, it's no longer, you're really just talking about the centralized institutions, such as, I mean, you have something like Coinbase, and that's, you know, basically pretty centralized, but a lot of people use it for crypto trading, same with Robinhood. And I mean, if you can regulate those businesses, which like they can be regulated, then yeah. But you have to also understand people with open source projects that, you know, it doesn't matter what regulations come out, like they're just going to keep doing their thing regardless. And that's kind of like the real power behind it, is just that you can't really do anything about a crypto wallet and a sock drawer. I don't know.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, but at the same time, governments do exist, and they're going to be doing things because that's what they like to do. They like to make new rules, and you know, that's literally their only purpose. How do you see that playing out? Is it like, in terms of like, let's say the U.S. government, do you see us just moving further and further towards them treating crypto like the internet itself, right? So it's not often that, you know, they're sitting there talking about the internet and how it's used for bad things, and we need to do things about it. We've kind of accepted that the internet is this tool that society uses, and it can be used for good and bad. Obviously, there's some talk about, you know, about how to make sure it stays where everybody can equally access it. There's talks like that. But do we get towards that point, or is there kind of like a dark ages time in the U.S. where they really try to, you know, regulate or ban or control cryptos in certain ways? Just curious.
We can already see some regulations passing involving crypto. Obviously, I mean, I think as people become a bit more knowledgeable about it, there'll probably be more people that are, you know, hopefully involved in the legislative process that, you know, understand it a bit more, the technology and such. I mean, when the internet first came out, there definitely was like a lot of like, I mean, there still is a lot of stuff being passed involving like the legislature of the internet and such. And I mean, I think there was a couple of years ago. What was that? It was like, basically, like, I don't remember. There's been lots of really crazy things passed that involve, you know, what sort of data can be shared online and such. And yeah, there was a lot of legislation, I think, in the 90s in the beginning, and like, oh, should everyone have access to just being able to just, you know, be able to pirate videos or something online?
Right.
Lots of stuff. I mean, I think the point I made with the whole like sock drawer idea is that it's kind of an inevitable technology, and you kind of either you go with the flow or you kind of just keep pressing back against it. But it's like it's just still going to be there regardless. I think a lot of people are very skeptical about crypto for that reason, because it's kind of like about the other things, but it's kind of like if the technology already exists, then like, and I think honestly, like one of the only things that could like break it is like, you know, if all the cryptography breaks and stuff like that. I mean, there's already like stuff that exists out there that relies, that, you know, has, you know, cryptography that wouldn't necessarily be viable for that sort of thing. Anyways.
Oh, we got somebody.
We got someone.
Adam, one other question too, because I don't know if we ever spoke. Like, we're always talking about the, you know, and when you've been on like the quantum side of things, what is your take on Bitcoin versus Monero in terms of, you know, the transparency of Bitcoin and the fact that, you know, Monero is essentially obfuscated? What's your take there on kind of on a technological level? Like, do you see an advantage from one versus the other? You see them both having different use cases. Just curious how you look at that.
They definitely have different use cases. Yeah, that Bitcoin's transparent ledger. I mean, if you really want to look at it from like a technical perspective, I mean, the mathematics is definitely a bit more complex, involving transactions that are done on a Monero blockchain and on the Bitcoin blockchain.
And then how about, we often say Bitcoin isn't fungible, and we're seeing that, we just had examples of that in our news story with.
Wait, I thought the whole craze was NFTs. What are you talking
about? Where do you side on that? Is Bitcoin fungible? Do you have any opinion there? Do you see Bitcoin as being fungible or not fungible?
I mean, on a technical scale, it's fungible, but on a social scale, clearly it wouldn't have full fungibility because of its transparency. But then again, maybe the same thing could be said about dollar bills. So I don't know.
Okay. And do you see that as being like something that Bitcoin overcomes, or because of it's always going to have that issue because it's interacting with society, obviously, and because it's transparent, there's like that attack surface where, its fungibility can be messed with?
I think any currency would technically have that problem, that its fungibility is, you try to approach one like everything is the same as every other one, but I mean, it really depends on like whatever scalar values you assign to different like societal issues. I don't know. So you could, if you knew that this Monero came from your worst enemy Bob, and you really don't want to have anything to deal with this guy for whatever reason, then maybe you might assign lower value to that you'd be traded, but only you would know that it came from that guy somehow. I don't know. But
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. I would definitely, obviously, Monero would have more fungibility.
Okay.
All right.
Nightmare
Hawk. Hello. Would you like to say hello?
Nightmare
hello.
Hawk.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we can.
we got you.
I love your picture.
Oh,
So
okay, thank you. Been watching your show.
Your name is so scary, but your picture's so cute. we don't know what to think.
Well, thank you. Just wanted to come on here. Been watching your show for a while. Oh, I see Adam's going to be one of the guest speakers he's on. So nice hair, by the way. So for me, just being in this narrow space has been great. A little bit about me, background story. Saw Bitcoin in 2009. I was in college. I was like at work and I was searching online. I saw this Bitcoin come up on, Google, whatever. And I was like, what the heck is this? And then so I started reading the white paper. I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was great. But one thing I didn't see in the white paper was about privacy. And I'm just like, so this is open source. This is public. Everybody and their mama can see it. And I'm like, I don't know if this is going to take off. And then, we had the whole 2013 where it started blowing up. You seen it on television, you seen it on the news. And then you had that whole Silk Road thing that happened, the Mt. Gox thing that happened with Bitcoin. But then Monero came out and I read that white paper. And I said, oh, okay, this looks like what we've been looking for, digital cash here. So I started investing in it, early. But then I kind of got scared off. I guess I spoke to one of my friends and they looked at it and were like, dude, the government's going to come after you. You might want to get rid of this. So I got spooked off and I, sold it all, put it back in Bitcoin. I ran away from Monero. But then around 2019, I came back and I said, you know what? The government's going to come after me. So be it. Let's just go for it. And just, I started investing. I like Monero a lot. The last bull run, I think in 2020 or 2021, it got up to $450 for XMR or something like that. So it was really good. But I'm predicting right now, I'm going to say it live on your show and you're hearing it first. I'm predicting that Monero will hit $1,000 XMR by 2025.
All right. Okay. Yeah. We're hoping even higher. I don't know. I think it's at the low end by 2025. But hey, I'll take it. One Monero always equals one Monero, right?
Yeah.
Cool, man. So that was super early. You were looking at Bitcoin back in 2009.
When it first came out.
And you were concerned about its privacy then. That's pretty good, man. That shows an ability to to really understand the system at an early point. I don't think everybody really grasped that. Took some time for people to realize. People were using it on the Silk Road, thinking it was digital cash. What is your kind of what is your current take then with Monero? So you're no longer concerned about the government's potentially regulating, banning things, or you just see it as if it happens, it happens?
I just see it at this point. If it happens, it happens. For me personally, like, I'm against governments completely. I don't like governments at all. I don't trust any government. Anytime I hear a government talks about, oh, we're gonna buy Bitcoin or we're gonna make crypto legal, I'm like, dude, you shouldn't force crypto on anybody. It should be a person's right. If they want to buy crypto, let them buy it. If they don't want to buy it, then that's their business. It's not your job as a government official to make it legal tender. No, I don't want the IRS knowing I have crypto. That's none of their business. They need to mind their business and stick to what they do. I mean, they're already backlogged. They don't need any more freaking holding people's money up, especially with their refunds. So personally, when it comes to Bitcoin and this Monero, like, I guess rivalry, you can call it, I really don't think the Bitcoiners really truly understand. Like, the OGs of Bitcoin understand Monero, but the newer people that have come into Bitcoin, it's like they're looking for it to just keep shooting up in price. And that's not how the markets work. They just don't keep going in a straight line, straight up. You know, at some point, I do think we're going to have a pullback, a major pullback. And then that's when I think the smart investors should just go in and buy it when it's cheaper.
What role do you see Bitcoin ultimately playing and Monero ultimately playing, like, kind of in the future? Like, where do you see them settling?
Okay, so I'm gonna put this around about, I'm gonna push this out to about 2030, 2035 area. That kind of future looking at. So in my opinion, I think Bitcoin will still be around. I'm predicting, and I know this might make the Monero community mad, but I'm thinking Bitcoin is going to be about almost $1 million per token, per coin, I should say, per coin. And I think Monero around that time should be about, I'm going to say 20K by that point, $20,000 per XMR. The privacy, there will be a community. I think the community of Monero will grow exponentially by that time, because governments will be very authoritarian by the time, probably in the entire world by that point. Pretty much freedom, to my opinion, will be gone by that point. So you're going to have a huge population of people that have XMR, that still transact, still have their ecosystem, you know, with small business stuff, but it's going to have to be secretly. We're going to have to keep it away from the government because they're going to be everywhere. And then you're going to have the Bitcoiners that have, like, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all the elites will have Bitcoin. Like, I would say the, what was the words that the elites use? Useless eaters, as they call us. Those people will have Bitcoin, but they'll have to get permission from the oligarchs to have it and use it. And they'll be monitored 24/7 every time they use it. And then they will have technology by that point, I think, will have exceeded so rapidly that, like, if you buy anything with Bitcoin that the government doesn't like, they'll just blacklist it immediately. And it won't even be humans that be blacklisted. It'll be like artificial intelligence doing it anyway. So
then would most people then be using Monero day to day? Or you're saying that would just be hard for them to use Monero?
I think people would be using it day to day, but it would be like it would go back to, in my opinion, an underground state where, like, there are people in the community that, you know, communicate secretly to each other, like, hey, I got some Monero, you know, how much corn do you have? Let me come to your farm and get some corn or some beans or rice or whatever, you know, to buy Monero with, so that the government isn't able to track what you're doing. So if you're, you know, if you sell marijuana, or you, I don't know, want to go on a trip, let's say you want to go to Costa Rica, but the government has decided that you're a domestic terrorist, but you really need to see your family down in Costa Rica, you'll use Monero to get there, see your family, or send your family money as well.
You think crypto will be legal tender sometime soon in the US?
I think in some states it will, and I think in others it won't. I don't think it will be in all 50 states.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be possible. Be like a federal level thing, but that's interesting. Cool, man. Are you coming down to Monerotopia?
Yeah, I will be there.
Cool, awesome.
So we'll meet you in person.
Excited to meet you in person. Yeah. Anybody else want to jump on?
Come on, guys and gals. Come on down.
All right. I think we can close it out here.
Yeah.
Nightmare Hawk, thank you so much for jumping on. Jump on anytime. Excited to meet you down there in person. Adam, thank you so much, man, for jumping on today, introducing yourself. Super excited to hear your talk. We're putting you right after. We're having a section just on like Monero tech. So we're having the Monero devs talk, and then we're having you talk right after that. So kind of like the futuristic, post-quantum Monero talk. So it should be very exciting. Thank you for doing that. Thanks for coming.
What time do you think? Sorry.
Oh, I don't know. We haven't gotten that far.
Figure that out
Today.
Oh no. Okay.
Today we're gonna
figure
figure out a lot of things today. We got to make sure we order some of the banners in time, and we got to organize everything. Make sure we have enough room in the day to fit all the talks.
Just know that it's going to be jam-packed.
It's gonna be jam-packed.
You're gonna be having lots of coffee.
Well, we know you're not a morning person, so we'll try to push it off. No, it should probably be, if I had to estimate, like it'd probably be around like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Don't mark his word on that.
Yeah.
You got to figure out the schedule today.
We'll follow your schedule.
But yeah,
right,
thank you guys for joining us. Join our Telegram group if you want to chat with us or like organize within the community. Like for people that are staying, we have hotels, blocks of rooms, kind of reserved. They're in the show description, so check those out if you haven't found a. Yeah,
if you want to like share an Airbnb with somebody, just the Monerotopia Telegram is a good spot to find people. Yeah,
coordinate with people there. I don't know. I'm sure some people, want to save a little, so you guys can join forces and rent a room at the 3 hotels that we have listed in the show description. So check that out. And I think we're good. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week. And ciao. Thank you for joining us on this week's Monerotopia episode. We stream live shows every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can find and subscribe to our show on YouTube and Odyssey, or listen to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or join us in the Monerotopia Telegram group. See you all next week.